Nobody talks about you, then you are nobody. Then you are nobody. Remember, child, everybody get that problem for head.
Greetings, everyone. I am Priestess Oshun Funke. For New Year's, at least in my family, we would always prepare a situation that would welcome in abundance for the new year. My family is from the Southern United States, Memphis, Tennessee, the home and birthplace of Hoodoo, to be exact. That being said, one of our family traditions, as is the tradition of many families who descend from the North Atlantic slave trade, we cook black-eyed peas and collard greens on New Year's Day. Like, you got to have it, ain't no way around it. Black-eyed peas and collard greens, or you're gonna be broke all year. The collard greens represent paper money, the black-eyed peas represent coins. I've heard things like the eyes on the black-eyed peas represent protection, watch over your money in the coming year, something that I actually look forward to because I love black-eyed peas and collard greens. So that's an example of one ancestral tradition that I will bring into the new year. And it is a very gentle spell that we can cast over our households and over our families and over our pockets for the new year. I wanted to share with you several different things that you can do. These are all very kid-friendly ideas. And I did that intentionally because I would like for you to do these rituals with a young person, to start recreating and reclaiming our traditions and start our own family traditions for the new year. Even though we may have our ideas or opinions about the Gregorian calendar and the new year starting in the dead of winter and all of those things, we're going to digress for the purposes of, the fact that we're in Rome, and we're going to accept that the new year is when it is. And so we are going to do our very best to try to conjure. I'm going to kind of dive right in with 3 things that you can do to conjure health, wealth, and wisdom for the new year. And when I say health, I'm talking about good spiritual health. The first thing is a panty drawer attraction sachet. It's appropriate for it to be in your panty drawer. Your underwear is the closest thing to you. It goes on before anything else. And it's usually the first thing we put on and the last thing we take off. So it's very appropriate to armorize our underwear, okay? And so for the new year, one of the things that we can do is create a sachet. People will often, and it grinds my gears, people will often say satchel instead of sachet. I don't know where that came from. I wish somebody could explain to me where that came from. But sachet is a French word. It is spelled S-A-C-H-E-T, and it's pronounced sachet. And it is usually a little bag or like a miniature pillowcase, if you will, made out of a very thin fabric, usually some type of organza or gauze. You can buy these little drawstring organza bags, and inside that bag, you're going to put elements for conjuring attraction, all the things that you want for the new year: good health, spiritual health, physical health, sexual health, wealth, which would translate into abundance of every kind, plenty of money, plenty of free time, plenty of leisure and enjoyment, and then wisdom. We don't want anything to slip past us. We don't want to not know anything that we should know. We don't want to forget anything that we've learned. The items that you're going to put in your organza bag are going to be cinnamon. We know that cinnamon conjures wealth. Cinnamon is synonymous with wealth. It is one of the most expensive spices in the history of mankind. It's always been considered extremely valuable and was part of the spice road. So we want to put cinnamon. This can also be an offering or a totem to the Orisa Oshun to bring amazing energy of prosperity and attraction and joy. You can also add Angelica Root. Angelica Root smells so good. First of all, it smells so good. But Angelica Root has the ability to call forth benevolent spirit. And so if you're praying for attraction, to attract those good things that you need in life, you definitely want to put some Angelica Root in your sachet. Buy the dried Angelica Root and just pray over it, enchant it, however you do your herbs. If you're a student of mine, then you know how to do that. and put that in your sachet. We also want to add patchouli flower. You can anoint the bag with the patchouli essential oil or put a couple of drops on a piece of cotton and put that into the bag. The cotton would also act as a totem for wealth because we know cotton is very expensive. It's a totem for ancestral involvement because unfortunately, cotton was the commerce that our ancestors were involved in against their will. Cotton also conjures the energy of Obatala, the Orisha of wisdom. And so if we want to conjure health, wealth, and wisdom, then it is quite appropriate to include cotton. So get you some 100% cotton. You don't want to get any synthetic cotton or anything like that. And put you a few drops of patchouli oil and add that to your sachet. Patchouli is very, very strong, so it will overtake the other items in your bag if you're not careful. So for one cotton ball, you probably only need 1 or 2 drops maximum of patchouli essential oil, okay? And sage. I would use dried sage. I would use whole dried sage. And even if it's fresh, you can add it. It will dry the bag as organza, but if you can find whole dry sage, that's what I would put. It wards off undesirable energy. It cleanses a space energetically. And sage also has properties dealing with wealth and protection. So I would put all of these items together. I would enchant them individually and then enchant them as a whole, asking them to do those things that I know that they can do, asking them to do those things that I intend for them to do. I would ceremonially tie my bag, and then I would probably set a candle on top of it for whatever amount of time I specify. And then I would place that directly and intentionally into my panty drawer and be conjuring all year long, attracting all of those good things to me. So then the next thing, my mother, y'all, loved her some potpourri. She had little crock pots for potpourri. She would cook potpourri on the stove. She had these little ceramic bowls with candles that went underneath for potpourri. My mama loved potpourri. And she would always do a certain potpourri for New Year's. So I'm going to give you guys a recipe for a money drawing or a prosperity potpourri. It actually smells really, really good. It's a beautiful scent to have flowing through your home for the New Year's. But then when you think about the magical and spiritual properties, the mathematical properties of each of these items, then it also makes really good energetic sense to do it. A potpourri is like a brew that is boiled for fragrance and also in our case, for magical or energetic reasons. So this prosperity potpourri would first have cinnamon sticks in it. Now you can decide on the number of cinnamon sticks based on the size of your pot, based on your intentions, can relate the number of cinnamon sticks to a particular energetic source. If you're trying to tap into one, you can have one for each member of your family. You can have one for each month of the year. Remember, intention is always the most powerful ingredient. So you need some cinnamon sticks, okay? Orange peels. I prefer to use fresh orange peels. And again, the number of oranges that you use is left up to your complete discretion. The more, the yummier. And so we know the properties of cinnamon: wealth, abundance. Orange peels have the significance for me in this mixture of clearing stale energy and inspiring the audacity to expect wealth and prosperity, inspiring ideas that will lead to cash flow and domination in whatever area I intend to exert it. And they smell really, really good. Next would be honey. Honey is sweet, it's sticky. Honey also smells good, particularly when it's a wildflower honey. I actually like orange blossom honey, which kind of goes with the rest of this recipe. So if you can find that, I would use that. And the property of honey that I want to tap into again is the sweetness, because we want this year to be sweet. We also want it to be sticky and attract all good things, only good things to us. And in this recipe, honey can serve as an offering or a totem for the ancestors and also the Orisha of wealth, like Ajay or Oshun. Okay. My last ingredient would be clove. Cloves smell really, really good. They smell festive. They're perfect for this time of year. Clove have protection properties. Clove can act as a totem for the Orisha Eshu. Clove have to do with communication, acting as they actually even look like little microphones through which you can speak into the spirit world and transmit your desires and your prayers. And so into this mixture, we are speaking absolute abundance. We are speaking no lack, no limitations, only the most and the best of everything that we desire. That is the recipe for the prosperity potpourri. You would just put all those ingredients together in cool water. Start off with cool water because you want the energy to be cool, particularly concerning your finances. And you would bring it up to a very, very slow boil. And then once it begins to boil, you turn it all the way down and just let it steam all day long and let that fragrance permeate the house. By the evening, you should be able to smell it from outside. Okay. And that's how we do that potpourri. The last thing that I have, I like to call it a Powerball. I would make 4 of these, one for each corner of the house. Chances are these are going to be in different rooms of the house, but wherever they fall, the outermost corner is where you want to place these Powerballs once you have made them. So in order to make the Powerball, you're going to start with an onion. I chose a purple onion because I like the energy of purple, it being a royal color, it being a power color. It's also my favorite onion in cooking, so I have a purple onion. You're going to need clove, whole clove. Prayerfully, you all know what a clove looks like, but if you don't, this is what a whole clove looks like. So that's a whole clove, okay? So those are the only 2 ingredients that you need for this Powerball. And what you're going to do is take your onion, and I like to use like a wooden dowel. You could use a knife or something, but this just makes the perfect size hole. So I just take, this is a skewer, because you know I'm African and we love some meat on a stick, okay? So I use my skewers and I would just poke a hole into my onion, okay? And then I take the whole clove and I'm going to speak my intentions into it. And my intention is protection. And I'm going to speak that into this clove. And then I'm going to insert it into the onion. Now, the onion itself, and so you can see I've already begun to prepare this onion for that. And each one that I stick into this onion, I literally drive a message. I speak a message into it and then I drive it into the onion. Onion being aromatic as it is, it actually does have just a naturally off-putting aspect to it, right? Onions will make you cry if you get too close or if you deal with them and you're not prepared. Onions have a lot of symbology that we can draw upon. And the main one in this case is going to be the power from the purple color and the onion's natural protective abilities. And then we're driving our clove into the onion, which I already told you the clove acts as little microphones to speak our prayers into, much in the same way that the pins do when we stick a pin into a voodoo doll or a spirit doll. And so we're driving our prayers into this onion, and you're going to just mark up the whole thing. You can be as intentional as you want to be with the number of holes. I do it in a circular pattern. By no means do you have to do it that way. And then I just go around and pray into my clove, power, protection, prestige. And I just go around the onion, placing my clove in there. And then once I get the whole thing done, then I would pray over it entirely. So that's a lot of prayers because you're going to do this to 4 individual onions. And then you're going to place one in each corner of your home. And you're going to leave it there the whole year. Okay, leave it there the whole year. Tell your kids to be quiet. Yes, it's going to shrivel up. Yes, it's going to look funny. That ain't nobody business. Put it in the corner and leave it. And then you remove this one next year and put another one in its place. Okay. My intention was to do circles of 9. You can be as intentional as you would like to be. You know, mathematics is very important. It's the language of the universe. So if you have a formula or a way that you want to do it, go for it. But I started off with 9, the power of 9 being endings, an end to anything that I need to end, and just setting up a new beginning. Also, the protection, that comes with the number 9, with Oya, that being her number, and purple also being Oya's color, 9 being the number of change and ushering in changes for the new year. That is what I call the Powerball.
If nobody talks about you, then you are nobody.